Good afternoon. My name is Debbie. I come from Toronto, Canada. And I thought I would give a short teaching on the role of our mind and pleasant and unpleasant feelings. So I remember my first teacher, my very first meditation class I went to, he said, you know, if some spacemen are coming down to Earth and they're going to study, you know, the living beings living on this planet, you know, and they want to see what are they up to. Then they're going to make a report back to the head space person. So they all come down and investigate what everyone's up to. And the report back is, you know, these guys are really busy. And he said, but basically we can summarize, you know, what they're up to. They're either trying to avoid suffering or trying to obtain happiness. So I think, you know, if you were to look through the yellow pages, I'm not sure if the yellow pages still exist, but on Google or something, you know, all the activities that we're involved in, you can actually just put them into the two categories. You know, we go to the dentist to avoid suffering. You know, we're going to go to the movies. We see that as a source of happiness. But what Buddha said is that, you know, when we're happy, what are we experiencing? When we say we're happy, I'm experiencing pleasant feelings. And when I'm not happy, I'm experiencing unpleasant feelings. So because they're feelings, they're part of our mind. So it means if we change our mind, and if we learn how to cultivate, you know, our feelings properly, that mind can be the source of our happiness. So right now we're all busy. We're busy out there. We're going to the dentist, going to the mechanics, going grocery shopping, going to the movies, going here, going there. So if we examine our life, our daily activities, from the time we get up to the time we go to bed, it's just basically seeking, you know, pleasant seeking pleasant feelings or trying to avoid unpleasant feelings. So sort of to look at, you know, whether these feelings, are they just the state of mind, and can we generate them? So this is sort of, you know, the exploration that we can do. It's like, investigating meditation or mind is this experiment to see, actually, does my mind play a role in the generation of unpleasant or pleasant feelings? So say I come from Toronto, big problem in Toronto is traffic. You know, by the time you get to work in the morning, everybody's irritated. The traffic. You know, Canadians talk about the weather, they talk about traffic. So, you know, first you talk about the weather, how cold it is, and then we talk how bad the traffic is. So, you know, if you're driving along the highway, you know, someone cuts you off, all of a sudden you know that person's IQ. They're not that bright, and they're cruel. You know, and they've ruined my day. You know, I should have been 10 feet ahead in that lineup on that expressway. You know, so this starts the mind going negative. It starts the mind. We have bad habits of always presuming the negative side of things. What if that person had just got a call that, you know, their child was in the hospital? Because we don't know. We don't know why that person is driving the way they're driving. But we have a habit of always going to the negative. You know, and wouldn't it be just more beneficial to think that, as opposed to this person suffers from a low IQ and et cetera, et cetera. So in meditation, what we want to do is try to train our mind in positive states of mind that will generate pleasant feelings. So some of these states of mind, you know, are love, compassion, and giving. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about giving. Love and compassion, perhaps we have to develop a little bit more. But giving, we can all start practicing right now. We just have to develop a wish to, you know, to engage in that practice. So again, my first teacher, you know, he said, whenever anyone asks you for something, you give it to them. You know, it doesn't matter what you think or what their motivation might be. You give because it's for you. I was thinking, okay, great. And I remember I used to go to work and get on the subway at a certain spot, and there'd always be this fellow asking for money. And it's, you know, I'd always give to him, and that was great. But I have this one attachment to cafe lattes. And I remember getting on the streetcar to go to the subway, and all I had was a $5 bill. And I thought, oh, that guy's going to be there. You know? but I want a cafe latte, and if I give him my $5, so this is give him the money, don't give him the money. So I was thinking, and then I could see he was there, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, no, my teacher said give, I'm going to give to him. So I get off the streetcar, and he's there, and I hand him the $5 bill, and even he goes, oh, that's too much. I was like, no. You haven't? And actually, he was so happy. So then I think of, this was about 10 years ago, and I think that I still get a beautiful feeling, of this person, being so happy. But how good a feeling would have gotten from that cafe latte? Like the first sip or the second sip, and it's gone. But this one, over the years has lasted. And I think that's what, what giving can do. And this is what Buddha taught. There's sources that if we engage in them, there's sources of lasting happiness, lasting pleasant feelings, not these ephemeral feelings that are like, just building a sandcastle by the sea that'll go away. The latte's drunk and it's gone. And you want another one and another one. And then, what also I think is these acts of kindness, for what they do to us, is the effect they have on the people around us. And the people, again, in a big urban center, people are usually irritated, especially on the transit coming home, and the bus drivers are kind of crabby too. But if you notice, if you start to say thank you when you get off the streetcar or the bus, people behind you will start saying thank you too. And then the bus driver's smiling. People are smiling. So, just giving a thank you. We don't have to give, material goods always. Just a smile actually can make people's day better, and it makes us feel better. And I thought I'd share with you a story of a friend of mine, and he's not practicing meditation, but I think, it shows just practicing giving. About 20 years ago, in another Canadian city in Montreal, it was wintertime, and he was on the subway platform. It was quite cold there, and he saw a fellow who didn't have a jacket on. And he went up to him and said, aren't you cold? And the fellow had just arrived from, I think, somewhere in South America, I think it was Colombia, and he didn't bring any winter clothes with him. So he said, well, I don't live too far away. If you trust me, we can just go a few blocks and I can get you a coat. So he went and he got him a coat, and then he found out he didn't have anywhere to live, and he put him in touch with someone for a place to live, and then he lost contact with him. And I was talking to him and I said, what did you do at the Christmas holidays? And he said, I had the most extraordinary holiday. He said, I got this email from someone that was the son of this person. He said, for 20 years I've been looking for you, that my father has never forgotten the kindness you showed, and invited him over. And he said, they didn't have a lot of money, and they put out this beautiful, beautiful dinner, and they said that the father brought all the children up telling this story about how kind someone was to him when he came. And it's, just even thinking of acts like that, it kind of warms your heart, and we kind of contrast that with, our normal selfish activities. And I think, if we start thinking about those pleasant feelings, they have a different quality to them than the chocolate cake has, or the movie has, It's a beautiful mind. And I think if we contrast that with that angry, irritated mind, that we're driving on the highway with, or sometimes at work, those are kind of ugly minds, and I think, we want to become, a beautiful person from the inside. And I think the practice of giving, we just have to retrain, start. One of the great Buddhist masters, Nagarjuna, said, once you start thinking that you want to help people, all kinds of opportunities will come up. Right now we think maybe I don't help too many people. But as I said, you just give a smile, or give some encouragement to somebody, to a stranger, and you make a difference in their lives. And I like, there's a passage in 8 Steps to Happiness by Geshe Kelsang Gyatso, where he says that there exists in this world a magic crystal. If we put it into any liquid, it purifies it. And he said, we can be like that in this world. taking out negativity and putting back loving kindness, then we're not ordinary. And I think right now in this world, it's a hard world. It doesn't need any more negativity. And I think if we can train, through meditation, which trains and develops our mind, and, remember during the day, to do these beautiful practices of giving or of love and compassion, we will make the world different. I think it needs to be different right now. So I think, from this teaching, maybe we can get a strong determination to make a difference and put back loving kindness into this world. It's a good thing. So thanks very much.